What's going on, everybody? It's PapaStones coming back with another video. It's Friday, so you know what that means. We're going to do a little spoiler season, a little spoiler previews, talk about what we think. Got a decent amount of cards, so we're going to jump right into this. Starting off, we got Darth Vader, a green-black leader. It says, action. If you attacked with a non-token vehicle unit this phase, create a TIE Fighter token. And then it flips over on 6 as a 5/6 vanilla, or a +5/+5 pilot. It is attached unit, is a leader obviously, and when deployed as an upgrade, create 2 TIE Fighter tokens. Honestly, I think this guy's pretty solid. You're getting, if you're playing like a vehicle heavy deck, right? Like say you're playing like Space Django right now, but you're playing like Space Vader and green and whatever other color you're playing in. Playing a bunch of space units, and then you swing in and you get a free 1/1 every time. You could do that. If you're playing like a hybrid, this is fodder, right? Like Nuke Gunray. The worst part about Nuke Gunray, right, is you had to have 2 units die. This you just have to have something attack to give you 1/1. So you could possibly run like an exploit style deck where you're just getting free 1/1s to exploit every time you're running in with a vehicle. I think this has a lot of potential. The worst part, I think, is like the +5/+5 on upgrade is pretty good, right, stat wise, but you almost would rather keep the action going of just making 1/1s. It'll be punished by Snoke obviously later on, but I think in a style of deck like this, you're going to be playing relatively quick, or you'll be playing, like I said, an exploit style thing where you're just using them as fodder anyways, and you won't care once you get later. But I think Darth Vader actually has some good promise to be a decent leader. Needs some testing behind it for sure, but we will see. Next up, we have Luke Skywalker. Kind of ironic they gave us both, right? That wasn't planned. This is a red-white, obviously. Action, if you attacked with a fighter unit this phase, deal 1 damage to a unit. It also flips on 6 as a 5/6 vanilla, and is +4/+5 as an upgrade pilot. This upgrade can't be defeated by enemy card abilities. Attached unit, if it's, God, I don't know why I keep reading that. If it's a leader, if it's attached. If it's a fighter, it gains on attack. You may deal 3 damage to a unit. This one, I guess it depends on how good the fighters are, right? I know there's some already, but is it enough to make a deck solely around fighters? Because I think this one, the front side's a lot worse, right? You get to deal 1 damage. It's just kind of like a ping. I don't know. Maybe that's actually not that bad. It kind of, if Vader ends up making his name for itself, you just play fighters and ping off all the 1/1s that it makes. Maybe it's okay, actually. I'm not quite sure. We'll have to see if there's enough good fighters to make a deck around it. The nice thing about this, I think, is that the upgrade itself can't be defeated by card abilities. Everybody who's worried about the confiscates and the Fang fighters, you don't worry no more with Luke specifically. So, yeah, there is that. It could also be decent. Next up, we got Data Vault. It's a green base, 33 HP. Your minimum deck size is increased by 10 cards. I think this is awful. You could play a 30 HP base. Sure, you lose 3 health. Then you get to run a competent 50. I think even if this was increased by 5 cards... Now, if it was increased by 5 cards, you'd maybe see some people experiment with it. But I think 10 cards you won't, right? Just because you really don't want that lack of consistency for 3 HP. I don't think I'll be doing too much testing with it. But you never know, if there's something that's really desperate for extra health, this could be an option. But the inconsistency sounds are too rough in my opinion. So we'll see. Next up, on to cards, not bases and leaders. We've got Iden Versio. This is a blue-black 4 cost. It is a 4/3 shielded. It also is a pilot. It's a rare. I forgot to mention Imperial. It's a pilot for +3/+3, and it is 3 cost in blue and black when piloting. And when this upgrade attached to a unit, give a shield token to that unit. outright, I think it's kind of buns. I know, like, the only thing I think this could be pretty okay in is Gar Saxon, right? Currently, because Gar would make it a 5-3 for 4, which isn't as bad. But a 4-3 for 4 isn't that great. I mean, I don't know. But the piloting's kind of nice, right? And granted, we'll have to go to the next card. I think this is meant to be played, obviously, with the next card. But as a standalone card, it's okay. I think 4-3 Shielded's alright. The Shielded makes it a little bit better, right? But other than that, I think it's kind of average. But then you go over to the next card, which is Corvus. This is the ship, right? This is a 5-cost blue-black rare. Also, it is a 4-5 Imperial Vehicle capital ship with Restore 2. And when played, you may attach a friendly pilot unit or upgrade to this unit, defeat all upgrades on that pilot, and remove all damage from it. So, the way I believe it would work, right, is you play the Iden, you come out as a 4-3 shielded. Next turn, maybe you run it into something, break the shield, and then you get to attach it to the Corvus. So your Corvus is now in 7-8, right? Yeah, 7-8. That, I believe, gets shielded. I don't know how that. Let me. When this upgrade attaches, yeah. So it just says when it attaches. So I just want to make sure the wording was right. So yeah, you just bring that over, and now you got a 7-8 shielded in space that restores 2. That could be pretty terrifying, to be honest. But I think that combo together is pretty good. The worst part is, I think Corvus as a standalone card is okay. 4-5 spaceship for 5 isn't that bad. It also has Restore 2, which is pretty solid. I think this card's actually good enough standalone. Iden, I think, is only really good in Gar. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe blue-black needs better 4-drops, but they already, I don't know. I feel like it's blue-black in an aggro sense that needs better 4-drops, because, like, control villainy blue, right? They have Child's in, and that's the best 4-drop you can have. But something like an aggro list, right? Like, maybe this Thrawn list I've been testing would run it. Who knows? But we'll see. It's also a capital ship. Keep that in mind for, what's it's called? Piet. So you can play this on turn 4 as a 4-5 with Restore 2. So there's that. Next up, we got You're All Clear, Kid. This is a 2-cost blue-white uncommon. It says defeat an enemy space unit with 3 or less remaining HP. If you do and an opponent controls no space units, you may give an experience token to a unit. I don't know how I feel about this. I know people think this is good. It's kind of niche, I think. I don't know. I feel like we're going to see a lot of space stuff, so it might be worth considering. It does answer a turn 1 play as well. So, like, if you played a unit, they played a unit, next turn you play this on their space unit, then you get an XP on your unit you already have. Like, that's kind of cool. However, I think it's a little too restricted for my liking. 3 or less HP is whatever, right? You can work around that. But the fact that it has to be a spaceship kind of feels bad. I think if it was defeat an enemy unit that was 3 or less remaining HP, and then whatever, right? Like, I think it'd be a lot better. I still don't think it's bad. It might be playable, but I don't think it's fantastic. Moving on to green stuff, we got Wingman Victor 2. This is a 2-cost blue-black uncommon. It is a 3-2 vanilla, and it is an Imperial pilot. When piloted, it gives +1/+1. It pilots for 1 green-black, and when played as an upgrade, create a TIE Fighter token. I don't hate this one. 3-2's an okay stat line to have, right, as an early play, and it can also give you a generator. I think, I'm not positive, but it's either going to be super aggro or it's going to be exploit style, because it just kind of reads that way. But I don't know. I think this could be okay. Next up, we got Victor Leader. This is a 3-cost green-black rare. It is a 2-4. It's Imperial Vehicle Fighter, and each other friendly space unit gets +1/+1. This is kind of a bomb, right? Like, this is Dodonna on crack for spaceships. If you're playing green-black spaceships, you're probably playing this. Like I said, I think Darth Vader will be either an exploit deck, which wouldn't be as crucial to run this, but if it's kind of like a Space Django style thing now where you're just slamming all spaceships, this card's probably pretty good. I like this one. It's got decent enough stats. The 2/4, it's not a lot of attack, right? But the 4 health is what's crucial here because it lets you survive, which is, this will be a card that will be targeted to be dealt with. So I think this card's pretty good. On to red, we have Masashi Tactical Officer, however you say that. It is a 1-cost red-white common. It's a rebel. It's got 0/4 and action attack with a fighter unit. It gets +2/+0 for this attack. I think that's pretty bad. 0 attack is like generally not something I would play unless the effect is super good, and this is not super good, so I think it's kind of bad. Moving on, though, we've got Frisk. This is a 2-cost red-white uncommon. It's a New Republic pilot. It is a 3/2 vanilla, which is okay for a 2-drop, right? And it pilots for 2 red-white. And when played as an upgrade, you may defeat an upgrade that costs 2 or less. This card, definitely very meta dependent, but I think it will be good enough to be played in certain decks. It deals with other pilots that are cheap, obviously. Deals with shields, XPs, whatever. I think this one's good. This +2/+2 stats are decent, right? Like, for 2 cost, it's pretty much what you can expect at this point. And being able to defeat someone else's pilot that they set up, this card's pretty solid. Moving on, though, we got Biggs Darklighter. This is a 3-cost red-white 3/4 uncommon. It is a rebel and a pilot. It's a vanilla 3/4, and when it pilots, it's +2/+1, and it is a 1-cost in red-white. If attached unit is a fighter, it gains Overwhelm. If it's a transport, it gains 1 health, and if it's a speeder, it gains Grit. I'm not positive. I need to look into it, because that might be worth considering. I'm curious if there's anything with multiple of these tags. I don't know off the top of my head, obviously. But if there is, being able to get multiple things would be nice. However, +2/+1 on a 1-cost upgrade pilot isn't bad standalone. And you're probably playing it in something that obviously has fighter, transports, or speeders. So it's probably, generally speaking, a +2/+1 and a keyword, or a +2/+2. I think this card's not bad pilot-wise. As a unit, it's not fantastic, right? We've seen 3-cost 3/5 is kind of the standard right now. There's a 3-cost 4/4. Like, you probably don't ever want this to be a unit, but pilot-wise, it's actually not bad. Moving on, though, we have Red 5. This is a 3-cost red-white uncommon 3/4. A rebel vehicle fighter. So it gains what? Overwhelm? Yep, it gains Overwhelm. On attack, you may deal 2 damage to a damaged unit. I think this card's good in certain things. Standalone, 3/4 spaceship actually isn't terrible stat-wise also. Got to keep that in mind. But say in something like Mace Windu, maybe not Mace, because Mace has to do damage stuff also. Is there a ping in Hero? Now I'm kind of tripping. I know Vader, because my mind immediately went Vader ping. I know there's Mandalorian ping, but nobody's playing that, right? Like Bo-Katan. Maybe they are, though. Who knows? Maybe this makes Bo-Katan okay. Yeah, I mean, if you have ways to damage units, it's 2 damage on swing. That's not bad, but it's definitely very niche to those style of decks, so Could be good, could be bad, could be unplayable. It's also a rebel, which kind of matters, so we'll say okay for now. Next up, we got Trench Run. This is a 1-cost red-white rare. Attack with a fighter unit. For this attack, it gains +4/+0 and gains on attack discard 2 cards from the defending player's deck. Deal unpreventable damage equal to the difference in the discarded card's cost to this unit. The +4/+0 is pretty sweet. It's definitely an aggro tool in that sense. We'll have to see on average like what you're hitting, right? I can't give you an option off the top of my head, but like you gotta imagine that, say it'll do 3 damage consistently. I mean, that's a total guess too. Like it could do 0, it could do 1, it could do 10. I mean, like the options are kind of endless, but on average, if I had to guess, I'd say it'd be like somewhere like 3. So it's basically deal 3 damage to your unit and then punch something for 4, +4. And is that good? Maybe. In an aggro deck, sure, the +4 will be worth it. I don't know. There's got to be some math to it, I think. We'll have to go through and see, like, the average deck, right? Like, because, I mean, say you slap it on that red 5, it's a 3/4, so you wouldn't mind it doing 3 damage, right? But if it ends up clearing a unit, it feels a lot worse. Hold on, let me shuffle up this deck right quick. So, what do we got here? Out of these top 6, I got 1/7, so you'd take 6. I got 1/1, so you'd take nothing. Then I got 6/3, so you'd take 3. Yeah, so it's super random, obviously, but I don't know. I think the +4 might be worth it in an aggro deck specifically. In something non-aggro, this will obviously never see the light of day, but maybe there's an aggro deck that's like fighter centric, or maybe this goes into Sabine as like a tech, right? Like, because I think red 3's a fighter. I don't know about other spaceships they run, to be honest, but we'll have to see. Who knows? That one's kind of too up in the air for me right now. Next up, we got Fight Fire with Fire. So 1-cost red common. Choose a friendly unit and an enemy unit in the same arena. If you do, deal 3 damage to each of them. I mean, I guess if you want your stuff to die, maybe. But it's cheap 3 damage, but like you gotta do your own gut. What are you doing back there, bud? You tripping? He's trying to get comfy, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's great. Yeah, I don't think so. Next up, we got Han Solo. It's a 5-cost yellow-white legendary. It is a 4/5 with ambush, and it pilots for 2, and it's +2/+3 when piloting. It checks, right? It's a legendary that gives more stats than the rest on the pilot. That checks, but so it pilots for 2, and when played as an upgrade, you may attack with attached unit. If it's the Millennium Falcon, it deals its combat damage before the defender. So your Falcon gets to be a 6/7 that deals damage before. So it's like Space Han. I think this one's pretty good. The piloting effect's sweet. It can be used as just an aggro tool. It can also do crazy value trades with your Falcons if you have to. It can be a 4/5 ambush, which is playable in some senses, right? Like Bosk is played, but Bosk obviously has a better like unit effect, but still it's 4/5 just with ambush, so that's not terrible. I think this card's pretty good. Moving on though, we have a Radiant 7 or VII, however you want to say it. It is a 7-drop yellow legendary again. It is a 5/6 Republic vehicle capital ship. Each enemy non-leader unit gets -1 for each damage on it. And when played, deal 5 indirect damage to a player. okay, I guess. Like, maybe I'm failing to see how this one's that good. Unless you're playing like an aggro indirect damage deck to where they're putting the indirect damage on their units, right? Then this be like your top end, right? Like, oh, I gotta deal 5 indirect, and if they take it to the base, it's gonna hurt. They can't really take it to the base. They gotta put on their units. Now their units are super weak. Like, maybe, right? But I don't know. It's kind of, this one seems a little bit lackluster for legendary, if you ask me personally. But that's just my opinion. Last but not least, we got Tentative 4 or Tentative IV. I feel like IV sounds funnier, so I like that one. It's a 7-drop white 5/7 Rebel Vehicle Capital Ship, uncommon. It has Sentinel, and when played, create an X-Wing token. It's okay. I mean, it technically gives you 7/9 stats, I guess, for 7, which isn't that bad. Sentinel could be okay. It's kind of late for Sentinel, to be honest. Like, I feel like most ships that come out that late, you'd rather them be good ships, right? Like, you're getting to like the 8, 9, 10, right? You're thinking Devastator, Avenger. I mean, sure, it's only 7. Or, like, even in 7-drop situations in Heroes specifically, right? You're thinking Luke, U-Wing, Mace Windu, things like that. Like, does this really compete for that 7-drop slot? I don't think so. But that's all I got this time. I'll be back again to check out next week. Getting real excited for this set. I mean, we've seen about a third of it at this rate, and I'm already looking forward to it. I definitely need to start doing a bit more testing. I bought my ticket to the Galactic Championship, so I will be in Vegas for that in July. And I'm pretty sure it's this set that'll be out. I don't think it'll be the next one. So, got to do a bit of labbing and find out what we're going to be running. But let me know if you enjoyed. Drop a thumbs up for me if you did. Comment down below. Let me know what you're looking forward to. Let me know if you think my opinions are any good, any bad, whatever it may be. Maybe I missed something. Just feel free to chat. I'm always available. And subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.